So we're going to, we're now, I think one of the things we're keen to do is look at different markets in Asia, and that China gets spoken about a lot. But one of the big markets, or two big markets, is Northern Asia. So we're delighted to have a session looking at Korea and also looking at Japan. So we're delighted to have two veterans of those markets. And also very different roles. Tumu Nakayama-san is the founder of ITC, wherever you like. Yeah, okay, please. Of ITC Leasing, who I'm sure many of you are familiar with. And also Geo Han is a veteran of the Korean market, or the South Korean market. And so what we're going to do with this is it's going to be a loose panel with as much questions and points from the audience as possible. But first, Mr. Nakayama-san has a few slides I think you wanted to go through. I'll just get you the clicker.
Good afternoon. Nakayama is my name. I'm a chairman and director of ITC Aeroleasing, Japan. I have established this company in 1985, and we have more than 30 years history. First company in Japan for dedicated the aircraft leasing and finance, as well as selling and buying. We have, in this 30 years, we have dealt more than 340 aircraft for sale, as well as 400 aircraft to structure as an operating lease. Our operating lease is a pure operating lease, investing in the aircraft, ownership to be retained by us. Therefore, it is not the same as JOLCO or JOL, where the product is a financial lease. But this is a investment direct in the aircraft. Current fleet is 45 and leased over 13 countries. We have investors, almost 120 investors, high net worth people, and depending on their appetite, they fund, together with us, the aircraft leasing. We do 100% equity, no bank loan, but sometimes 50% equity and debt arranged 50% with BNP Paribas, etc. And we are one of the most flexible leasing company, because we give, after 3 years, any time with prior notice, option to sell, option to purchase to the operators. Okay, I'm the founder of HAI's Finance and Leasing Committee in 1986. For 8 years, I was a chairman of the Finance and Leasing Committee. Okay, let's go to my presentation. Japanese aviation market. Our government has been putting a priority on the mass transport. Therefore, they are favoring JAL and ANA and other airlines, and general aviation a little bit behind. However, since 10 years ago, or almost 8 to 9 years ago, our government recognized the importance of the business jet because so many American businessmen fly over Japan, bypassing to go to China and Korea or Taiwan, etc. And therefore, they established a hangar for business jet at Narita, and now at Haneda Airport, which is the most convenient airport for access to Tokyo downtown. They are also starting to establish dedicated, corridors and slot, And therefore, the international, business jet coming to Japan, about 5,000 business jet every year. Last year, 5,000. And also domestic landing, records is 10,000 landing for each aircraft, based on the aircraft, each aircraft. So every year we have seen a 36% increase for domestic and international, and things are very prospective. And however, Haneda Airport is most popular for business jet coming into Japan, and even domestic, although restriction is very not free, open. Unfortunately, 45% of all the business jet coming to Japan goes to Haneda, and others are small other international airport where CIQ clearance exists. Since the deregulation of the airport is going on, now Haneda CIQ clearance is CIQ clearance before 10 to 30 minutes is now 3 minutes at Haneda. And taxiing, time for taxiing, 12 minutes reduced to 2 minutes. So very big, amelioration or improvement has been seen, realized. And 2015, a number of parking slots for large business jet was increased from 3 to 9, and 16 slots for arrival and departure per day between 6 o'clock in the morning to 11 p.m. in the night. However, after 11 o'clock to 6 o'clock, free, so quite open. That's the current, situation. And how Japanese, business jet, flying compared with the American market, it's 20 times bigger than Japan. And Japan, business jet is flying, 15,351 landings, while in the United States, only April 2018, they are flying 379,000. So big difference. However, if we can expand Japan's surface to 20 times, it's 300,000. So 1 month, volume in the United States is for Japan 1 year. Currently, our business jet fleet is composed of 85 aircraft, business jet. JA registration is 69%, almost 70% JA registration. However, 30% is N number. Why? Because Japanese registration or Japanese registered aircraft cost a lot of money. Lots of, time and money for annual, inspection, etc. Therefore, 30% of the business jet owners are keeping the N number in Japan. They are 1/3 of the expenses, cost, compared to the J number. So very attractive to keep N number. Out of 85, 37% is a light jet, mostly Cessna. Bombardier is 9%, and Gulfstream 30%, etc. Still, 85 units is not showing the, showing the increase. However, 10 to 15 years ago, we got 120 business jet. Bubble burst, since bubble burst, the fleet composition, fleet number decreased, unfortunately. In Japan, there is a certain, tendency among high net worth people or owners of the company to operate business jet. But generally, in Japan, unlike other countries, we have a very well structured network of Shinkansen. As you see from here, the Shinkansen, JR Tokai, they are predominant, base of transportation, earning very high profitability, while the Japan Airline and ANA holding very low profit. So it shows you how railway network is well developed in Japan. You can see here, this is the Japanese archipelago, and you will see from north to south, Hokkaido to Kyushu Island, there are Shinkansen or railway network. And it is very convenient because each 6 minutes there are departure from Tokyo Station. Wherever you go, the Shinkansen speed is 250 to 300 kilometers per hour. And the new Shinkansen route, there will be 500 kilometers per hour. So people are, very much likely to take Shinkansen instead of airlines because no waiting time. Just pop in the train and 1.5 hours already Osaka, etc. However, for business jet, there are about 66, airport available with more than 2,000 kilometer length, and total airport is 97. So there, our government is now trying to, study how to privatize those airports in order to activate the airport. Particularly, we are having the Olympic 2020 and other event, Paralympic or rugby, world. So our government is trying to, invite as maximum tourists from outside of Japan. 2010, we have only 8.6 million visitors. But last year, 2017, we got 28 million. And this year, we are expecting 32 million visitors. And during the Olympic year, we will expect 40 million visitors. And 2030, 60 million visitors. And in order to attain such visitors from overseas, our government has a plan to privatize almost all the major airports to be privatized in order to have a modern system of the airport, not only for the airlines and the aircraft, but also for other purposes, like theaters, museums, and other purposes. So I am definitely sure that this efforts of Japanese government will lead to more, business jet to be introduced to Japan. Though the cost of operation under J number is tremendously high, so N number is a preferred method for Japanese owners. And, just a moment, yeah. Now, although the Japanese market is, very accessible domestically by transportation, by railway transportation, with very high rapidity and precise arrival. Even 1 minute delay, the conductor says, "We are sorry." 1 minute late to arrive. So they are very punctual. So for the aircraft, business like we do, always Shinkansen or railway system is our competitor. But since our government is going to privatize and introduce, private jet, lounges and, CIQ, etc., for as many airports as possible, I am sure that the future market is bright for smaller, aircraft. Although for going, trip, mid-size or larger, aircraft is preferred. Interesting is that since 2 years ago, Honda Jet was, started to be produced commercially, and already 95 units were sold worldwide. And Japanese, high net worth people or corporate owners are quite interested because they feel so familiar with Honda, brand name of the Honda. And price is $5 million US, and very quiet because of the 2 engines on the wing. Spacious, and since they are flying Global Express or whatever, Gulfstream, 13, 14, passenger capacity, but normally 2 or 3 people. So, younger IT, entrepreneurs are preferring to have Honda Jet to use domestically, and recently the cruising distance extended about 17%. So they can go to China easily, Korea, and Taiwan. This is the Honda Jet, current situation, and I'm sure in the coming 1 or 2 years' time, this 85 business jet number will be increased over 100. Although Honda is a very light, small, business jet, economic impact is not so big, but number of the business jet will increase. So I'm very, positive. In addition to that, the many Japanese companies, manufacturing companies, they are reducing the production in Japan and bringing their production outside of Japan. Some company has 7 factories in China, and they are interested to have Honda Jet to lease. So we are very happy such company can be our eventual client as let's see. Mostly they are going to use as a private category. So these are the current business jet situation briefly, but also there are helicopters in Japan. Since Shinkansen is north to south running, therefore to go to another direction, we have 650 helicopters, civil helicopters are flying, and some of them are police, some of them are rescue operations or firefighting operations or medical evacuation, but also private owners are much bigger than business jet owners. So this is quite a particular, situation, unlike other countries. Thank you very much indeed.
Great, thank you. That's great, thank you. That was a very, some great data there, or data for our American. So so Mr. Nakayama-san is very optimistic about Japan. Let's talk Korea now, South Korea. So Geo, you're setting up a management company in Korea, is that correct?
Not yet at the moment.
That's your final plan, is it?
Yes,
Take us
I'm
through your
planning.
background.
Yes, I'm going to briefly talk about our company's background. Our main business, we're pretty new in the business aviation field in Korea. As everybody might aware of, the South Korea market is pretty small in comparison to others in Asia Pacific region. We're really big now, I think. We have very few business jets and corporate jets. At the moment, we supply, GH Group supply commercial pilots to airlines in China. 80% of our clients exist in China. We working with over 20 Chinese airlines, few in Vietnam, and few in Cambodia. So we have over 50 contract pilots who's currently flying in China, and a few in Japan and Vietnam. So we provide crew resourcing services, of course, for the business jet services as well. And as a Korean Australian, I've got home in Australia and Korea. I'm still half living in Korea, half living in Australia. So, but nowadays I'm mostly staying in Korea for the business development in China. So I got the frequent travels to China every month. So while I was operating the pilot resourcing services, I could see the potential great potential in Korea. It's not really optimistic at this stage because it's really beginning stage and market is relatively small. But if we're talking about the optimistics of Korean market, I can definitely say yes. There's a room because I think it's very special niche market. We have few corporates operating their business jets. Korean Air, the company where I initiated my aviation careers when I was young. Korean Air, they have many business jets at the moment, including BBJ and SK or Hyundai. That sort of top 3 ranked companies have they operate their own corporate jets with their crew resourcing management.
So can I go back to the slides? Sorry. Please. I think there was a really interesting slide about what's holding the market back in Japan. So should we go through the same reasons for Korea? Do you agree? Mr. Nakayama-san said social attitude was one of the issues. Would you agree with this in Korea?
Can I?
Yeah, these were the reasons that Mr. Nakayama said was holding back Japan. Would you agree with these reasons for Korea as well, or is it different issues?
I think so. I would agree for partial. Do you want me to explain?
Yeah.
So business aviation is still slow in Korea as well because I think one of the biggest barrier to develop the business aviation industry in Korea is various happenings, corruption scandals by ex-presidents in the past. So public image for have you heard about Jebol, the word of Jebol? That it means high net worth individual. It's kind of jargon, only exists in Korea. So we call everybody, all the high net worth individuals as Jebol. So we had very continuous corruption scandals with presidents. But this is good time, I guess. So social attitude against the business aviation field in Korea still is not really good at the moment. But because of but after the new government, I strongly believe you are familiar with the name of President Moon, who created a very good negotiations between America and North Korea. He's the goodest one, I think. So he will strongly focus on developing transparency in terms of all the government and relationship between businesses, big businesses chaebols, that kind of things. So in 5 years, social attitudes against to Korea and the business aviation in Korea will be improved a lot. But in the past, we had a G20 events in a couple of years. But we had lots of public voices about the problems not having the very professional services. So good news is we have a new first a new FBO in Korea, which is very good. In Gimpo, they have the government, Korea Airport Corporation. They made a huge investment, and then they have entered into the joint venture agreement with Aviation Asia for 10 years. So it's just starting at the moment. And I have a couple of friends, pilot friends, who's currently flying for corporate jets in Korea. I could hear some bad things or good things, but it's obviously it's improving. And we had very good experiences when we had this year Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. We had a very good move, positive move. So I think it will be improved very soon.
So you're waiting for a generational change. You're waiting for the young guys to come in rather than...
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. So I hope the new government, the current government, can contribute a lot of things, a lot of improvement to make the public images get better.
Mr. Nakayama-san, we've been waiting for that generational change in Japan for quite a long time as well.
Yes, nowadays, all those younger entrepreneurs successfully, establish their operations as IT companies or new business. They are quite interested in having, their own aircraft, not only business jet but also turboprop, etc. Helicopters are very popular. So I hope that, since baby boomers, like us, old generation retiring, and younger people are taking over the aviation market, quite, a perspective I consider.
We've got a question from a millennial, David Best.
Thanks,
Pardon?
Mr. Nakayama.
Yes.
I know Haneda has made much progress in the last 5 years with the terminal operation. However, do you see there being an opportunity in the future to remove the restrictions around parking and also around based aircraft, and potentially having a dedicated FBO and not having to operate through the terminal on short-term lines?
I think, Ministry of Transport is studying to arrange such and use one runway, shorter runway, existing already in Haneda, can be used for business jet.
Okay, we have another question from Generation X. Mike?
Just for both markets, obviously Jeju Island off Korea has done quite well with attracting business aviation traffic due to the casino that's based there, or casino market. With the Japanese casino concessions soon to be announced, do you think that's going to also accelerate the need for access to infrastructure? And what is the solution, first of all, that you see for Jeju, which is already restricted on overnight parking for business jets, versus Japan, when the casino, I'm not sure actually, where is the casino going to be based in Japan?
There are several, Yokohama and Wakayama and Osaka and even Hokkaido. There are 4 to 5 candidates, even Okinawa as well. So once Diet will approve casino, to be established in Japan, I'm sure most of the operators will have a business jet to go to Korea, to go to China, to bring their clients to Japan free of charge. But they got a lot of money, more than 200,000 US dollars or $1 million US dollars. Hotel charges free, and transportation free. So I think just like Atlantic City in the United States, situation will be like that.
We've got a question, Nilesh.
Yes, you know, as you said, a lot of the recent purchases in business aircraft in Japan were the young tech industry. When do you see, and do you see Japan's business aircraft usage expanding to being a corporate use? So that means other than just the founding members of the different companies, corporate use, I mean, second, third level. And there's a lot of Japanese corporate houses that have global supply chains and operations, industry basis. So would that, do you see that happening anytime soon?
Yes, in the past, many well-established, leading Japanese top, class companies are having, a business jet, like Toyota. Toyota having more than 5, business jet, and as well as turboprop. Sony as well. I was the first guy who sold, business jet Falcon 20 40 years ago to Sony. Since then, Sony got so many, business jet in the United States. And in Japan, unfortunately, headquarters is under the process of, turnaround. So still they are not having it. But all those, companies, are, may have again business jet, but younger, IT successful, companies, they have already, Bombardier, Global Express, G650, etc. So this tendency, I'm sure, will continue.
Great, thank you.
This is coupled with, tax advantage, like America. Bonus, depreciation. Even in Japan, a similar system exists.
The last question, why do Japanese corporate houses still make the purchase decisions in the US?
Why do Japanese corporations still make their purchase decision in the US?
Like Nissan, Toyota, etc.
Yeah, Nissan has also, Global Express.
Okay, I think that's great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much,
you.
Thank you, Chair.
Sorry,
Thank you.
My reply is not
It's all right.
correct.